In this video, I'm sharing Confluence tips and tricks so you can become an expert with using Confluence. To follow along with this video, sign up and create your free account to Confluence using my link in the description bar down below. Tip number 1, when you're creating a page, use headers to separate things out and make your document look clean. Let's say that I've typed out this part of a product roadmap so far, and I've only listed out the overview and the goals and the features to deliver for the very first quarter. Instead of just bolding the text, let's use the toolbar at the very top. You'll see a drop-down menu that says normal text. Click on that and you're going to see that there are 6 types of headers you can use. Let's highlight the word for overview and let's change the text style to header 1. Automatically, you're going to see the font get bolded and increase in font size. For our next section, let's highlight the words for quarter 1, deliver core features of software application. Let's change the text style and let's pick header 2. And let's say that for each of the feature sections, we're going to be using header 3 style. And right away, we're going to see significant improvements with how our page looks. It's so much more organized and it doesn't even look too cramped. Tip number 2, use the table of contents macro so that anyone can quickly skim through and see what's inside your page. Super helpful, especially if you have a very long page of items. The table of contents macro will only work if you apply header styles to your text. Now, since we've already done that, let's go ahead and let's insert a table of contents macro to the very beginning of this page. Right before the word overview, let's left click to place our cursor right at the beginning. Press the enter key to make it go onto a new line. Then type the / key to access the macros menu. Then type the word for TOC and you should see the table of contents macro. Click it and you'll see the table of contents automatically generate based on the headers that we created earlier for your document. Now, what's great about the table of contents is that it's clickable and it will take you to the section that you're looking for. So if I click on feature 4, it'll take me to that section. Tip number 3, use the comments feature to get feedback from your teammates. Let's say that we're still writing out our product requirements document, but we need feedback from another team member on which items will be a part of our online shopping app. To do that, left click your mouse and highlight the words for certain items. After you release your mouse, a pop-up window should appear. Click on the comments button and a new comment should appear to your right-hand side. Let's assign this to Alvin by typing the @ symbol and ask, which items do we want to include in our shopping store? Click on save and any text which we highlighted in yellow corresponds to a comment. Just click on the yellow highlighted text and your comments should appear. Your team members can then respond to your comments directly, so there will be a huge chain of feedback on your comment that you can review later. By the way, if you're getting value out of this video, don't forget to smash that like button to show me your support. So tip number 4, structure your content using columns and sidebars by using page layouts. Page layouts is one of the most underused macros in Confluence. To access it, type the / key, then type layout and press the enter key. You can create a 2 or a 3 column layout and even add a left or a right sidebar to organize your content. For our example, let's add a right sidebar layout underneath the paragraph for our overview section. Let's left click it and select all of the text for the overview section. Let's cut it and let's paste it into the left column. Even when you paste it inside, your page still maintains its overall structure. Tip number 5, use the images macro to add relevant images and pictures to make your page more visual to your team, to give it that little oomph. Inside the right sidebar of the new layout that we created, let's type the / key and then the word for image. Let's pick an image for my desktop, which in this case is an image of a shopping cart to visualize the e-commerce shopping app. The macro will place the image right inside of our page layout. Now, if you like, you can also add a border around your image by selecting the border feature at the leftmost side of the pop-up toolbar. So let's add a dark gray border around our image and we can see it change right away. So tip number 6, know the difference between publishing versus closing a document. Whenever you're creating a page inside of Confluence, your work is continuously being saved in real time. At the top right corner of your page, you'll see a button that says publish and close draft. When you click on close draft, it will close the page, but it's not going to publish it live to your entire organization. It will still save everything that you type. So let's go ahead and click on close draft to show you what that looks like. So now we've been taken to my personal space. On the left-hand panel, you can see the project roadmap that we were working on and that it's still in draft mode. If we click on it, we'll see everything that we were previously working on. Now let's say that we're ready to finally publish our document. Just click on the publish document on the right-hand side and it will officially be live. As we move on to our next tip, don't forget that you can download my free guide to master how to use Confluence the fast and easy way at alvinthepm.com/tutorial guide. Tip number 7, use the roadmap planner macro to quickly create and show high-level roadmaps and Gantt charts. So this actually is one of my all-time favorite macros to use inside of Confluence. Type the / key and then the word for roadmap. Hit enter and you'll see this pop up appear. You can customize it very quickly. For our example, let's say that we want to show when certain features will be released in the upcoming year. In our first swim lane, let's rename bar 1 to be called feature 1. To do that, left click the bar and then left click the words that state bar 1. Let's rename it to be feature 1 and then click on the check mark button. Let's rename our 2 other bars as features 2 and 3. For feature 1, we can decrease the width of the bar and move it around so it takes place between the months of July and August. And for feature number 2, let's move it so it's between August and September. For feature 3, let's keep it inside its own swim lane and let's move it so it takes place between September and November. And voila, we have a very rough high-level roadmap of a few features that will be released over the next few months. Once you're done, all you gotta do is click on the insert button at the bottom right corner and your timeline will appear on your page. If, let's say, you ever need to edit your timeline, just left click it once and in the pop-up toolbar, select the leftmost button for edit and you'll be able to customize it as you need to. As we move on to the next tip, make sure to smash that like button if you're gaining value out of this video so far because it inspires me to keep creating high quality content just like this. All right, so tip number 8. For any page that you visit frequently, use the star feature of Confluence. Let's say that we plan to use this page very frequently. Let's star it by clicking on the star button that's at the top right corner of your top toolbar. Alternatively, you can press the keyboard shortcut key for F. Think of it as you're favoriting your page in a Google Chrome or your Firefox internet web browser. When you star a page, you're basically adding it to your favorites list. If we click on the recent drop-down menu showing on the top left portion of your screen, you'll see this menu appear. Move your mouse and click on the starred section and you'll see your starred page appear right here. You can also access your favorites list by clicking on the Confluence logo that's on the left side, and then you'll see a separate section for your starred pages that you can access at any given moment. Tip number 9, use the page history feature to see what's changed in previous revisions. Before we do that, let's add a quick sentence here saying that this is the high-level roadmap for releasing our software, and then click on update. Now to see our page history, left click on the 3 dots icon on the right hand side of your screen and then click on page history. This section shows all of the different revisions of the page and you can see what has changed since you last published it. So this can actually be helpful if, let's say, you made a mistake and you want to undo any changes, or perhaps maybe your team updated quite a few sections and you want to review them in a little bit more detail. This page history tool will help you do exactly that. Let's check mark the box for the 2 latest revisions and click on the button for compare selected versions. On the right hand side, we see the legend that tells us that anything that's been added is highlighted in green, anything removed is highlighted in red, and anything in blue means that there were formatting changes. If we scroll to the bottom, we see that we added the sentence that we just described earlier because it's highlighted in green. Let's go back to the page itself and let's talk about our next tip. Tip number 10, use macros to customize your page and make it user-friendly and easy to work with. To see a full list of the macros that you can use, type the / key and then scroll all the way down. You have macros for including the date, an information panel, status indicators, code, emojis, tables, different types of panels, and the list just goes on. So you have a few that you can use to help make things stand out on your page. Aside from the roadmap planner macro that we used to create this timeline earlier, my other favorite macro to use is the action items. Type the / key and type the word for action items. You'll see a checkmark box, and right next to it, that's where you can type in different action items that you can assign to people on your project. For example, let's say that the immediate action item is to finalize the product roadmap, and you can tag a person using the @ symbol and assign it to my name, Alvin. Let's have this section stand out by adding the notes panel macro above it. Let's call it action items. And just by doing that, it makes this section so much more clean and more organized. Tip number 11, use templates when you're creating new pages. Why reinvent the wheel when you can leverage already pre-made templates which have already best practices inside of them? Stand on the shoulders of giants and use templates to be more effective with your time. So let's go ahead and let's create a new page. When we do that, we can see that there are more than 100 templates that we can use. Some templates available for us are for sprint planning, a retrospective, product requirements, a project plan, meeting notes, and just the list is endless. For our example, let's check out the template for project plan. The project plan template has so many things that's already built into it. We have the project statement, the scope, timeline, and key milestones. Of course, you can add it and you can play around with this and tailor it so it fits your specific project. Tip number 12, use the whiteboard feature to quickly brainstorm ideas with your team. To do that, click on Create at the left side panel and then choose Whiteboard. This is one of the best features within Confluence because you can virtually add sticky notes to your screen, map out a flowchart, brainstorm ideas, and collaborate with your team in real time. Highly recommend checking this one out because it's an all-in-one feature that's part of the Confluence software and is completely free to use. Now for tip number 13, for our next tip, this is where you come in. What tip or advice do you have for someone who is just getting started with using Confluence? I'd love to hear from you, so please drop me a comment down below so we can help each other win in our careers. Now, this is just scratching the surface of using Confluence. If you'd like to learn how to use Confluence from start to finish, please watch this video next, and I'll see you in the next video.